Look, you clicked on this video. You're doing this to yourself. You're actively choosing to waste time knowing exactly what the outcome is going to be when you see a review on a Disney live-action remake. You don't even need to be a regular on my channel to know the collective disdain for the concept of a Disney live-action remake. And of course, I am one of those people. Of all the new incarnations of what we know about Disney live-action remakes, I don't think I've enjoyed a single one of them. And they still choose to make them because people keep flocking to them. From what it seemed from my audience anyways, as it was filled with families and the ever-growing concern that is Disney adults. This demographic of people all in attendance for the newest Disney live-action remake of Moana. A remake of a movie that came out only 10 years ago, which is fucking ridiculous. I thought it was a joke, a prank, a goof when this got announced. Even more so when the teaser for this thing dropped and it genuinely looked like an SNL skit, which sounds like an insult to SNL in itself. Now that I think about it, maybe not current SNL, as that's just complete shit. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm complaining before I even get into the review. Before I do talk about this dumpster fire though, I have to do the arbitrary beg for a like and a subscribe, as it helps out a lot. I'm gonna start by talking about performances, leading with this version of Moana, who's played by Catherine Laga'aia. I most likely have butchered that pronunciation, so I apologize. The woman here is fine in certain parts and a little weak in a few other places. She's capable of reciting the exact same screenplay from the original. I'll give her that. And I feel like she does well at embodying the spirit of her character. I was a little less keen on her singing though, I will say that. There was times where I feel like she didn't reach the exact same heights as her original actress, in terms of some notes, especially in the early half of the movie. But I will admit, as it went on, I think she got a bit better. The only thing that really bothered me about her performance, however, is I feel like she couldn't really emote as well as she needed to in certain scenes. It got me thinking, if you're getting out-acted by a literal cartoon, that's definitely an issue, but it makes me wonder if that's more down to the direction rather than the actress herself. Dwayne Johnson reprises his role from the original movie. That line alone should be setting off so many alarm bells. It immediately just screams vanity project from The Rock from the get-go, which is probably why the guy is just sleeping through this entire performance. I thought he looked bored for basically the whole runtime. I'm not shocked at all though, of course. I guess this is his one for them after he tried going for an Oscar campaign for The Smashing Machine, which going from that to this is such a fall from grace, man. It's crazy. He just doesn't care in this movie, and if the actor doesn't care, why the fuck should I? Any moment I thought Maui was gonna stop the movie and start promoting The Rock's fucking tequila. Jemaine Clement reprises his role that he had in the original movie too. He's another example of where it feels like he's kind of asleep at the wheel here. I don't blame him in the slightest, because I too would probably be pissed if I had to say the exact same lines I did from 10 fucking years ago. I don't want to speak too much on his actual performance, as I feel like surely it can't be solely his fault alone, as it had to be so many other factors. So with that in mind, I think I should just move on to other aspects of this thing, as I don't really feel the need to talk about any other performances in this, as they're really just not worth talking about at all, honestly. So obviously the plot of this movie is the exact same as the original movie, like genuinely beat for beat, which initially confused me, as this movie's runtime is slightly longer than the original, which is mainly down to very short little jokey parts, mainly with the chicken sidekick. They felt the need to add a quick few extra little jokes, which kind of distracted from what's going on in the plot. I will say one major thing that's stripped away from this movie is a lot of the humor, surprisingly. It's a lot less funny than the original, and I think what made up most of the comedy in that original movie is due to the animation. The characters had the opportunity to make a lot of really exaggerated facial expressions and reactions to everything going on, which is something I believe any ages could find humorous. In this, obviously, because it's real people, a lot of that is taken away, which means a lot of the humor is taken away too, which makes me wonder how a younger audience is even gonna enjoy something like this. Apparently, from what I'm reading, there's only very minor changes here, shockingly. I guess because of the backlash of how much they completely butchered Lilo and Stitch, they had to backpedal and try and make this one as close as they could to the original. They tried to flesh out Moana's dad a bit more, apparently. I didn't see that at all, honestly. I thought he was just kind of got the same amount of screen time as he did in the animated movie. I think for me, the most massive, obvious difference comes from the musical sequences, especially regarding You're Welcome and Shiny. Starting with You're Welcome, the scene is so incredibly underwhelming in comparison to the animated version. In that movie, a lot of the visuals are represented through Maui's tattoos, and they can't be bothered to do that here, so they just put the visuals on a bunch of fucking rocks instead. On top of that, the whole scene is filmed in front of an LED volume screen, which is the bane of my existence. The only time these volume backgrounds work well is when it was done in Matt Reeves' The Batman. They knew how to fully utilize those things in that movie. Here, it looks like shit, and some of the images that are meant to be moving in the background don't even move. It's insanely embarrassing. Shiny, the song sung by Jemaine Clement character, is done completely wrong as well. So much of the line deliveries and comedic timing is just done so awkwardly that it's distracting. It's such a worse version of something that is honestly one of the highlights of that animated film. Outside of the song, Clement's comedic timing is just all wrong as well. It was super confusing. It really just felt like when it came to this part, they tried to rush through it as much as possible. The whole movie just looks like shit too. From the clips that you're seeing, you can obviously tell by that. There's fleeting moments of color and vibrancy here, but it's very rare, as the rest of the movie is just super washed and unappealing to look at. Literally every single scene has backlighting, even when it doesn't make sense. This is especially noticeable when Moana and Maui meet for the first time. The two of them are backlit when only one of them probably most realistically should be backlit, so it just looks super amateur. Actually, in saying that, that's a bit of an insult, as I feel like some amateurs out there at least know the concept on how to utilize backlighting, probably. Hopefully, anyways. This is a multi-billion-dollar company and they can't even get a simple lighting thing right. I do consider Moana, the original movie anyway, to be a pretty looking movie. There's a lot of great colors here and there, and that just doesn't translate in this version in the slightest. It's horrific. It might not be the absolute worst of the worst looking Disney live action remakes, but it's still very subpar, maybe even below that, honestly. I guess a positive I can say is the music, which is composed by Mark Mancina, who did the original score for the animated movie, and I'm pretty sure it's the exact same score, which is great because the music and the songs are another highlight of that animated movie. It's great hearing the Polynesian inspired music on the big screen. It certainly sounded great. I always felt guilty getting some chills hearing songs, since everything about this movie is pretty bad, but fucking hell, hey, Lin-Manuel Miranda be damned, the man knows how to write pretty good songs, and the Moana soundtrack is full of them. It's a very solid collection of modern Disney songs, and hearing them in a cinema setting is cool. I can't imagine that aspect having the same effect at home though. I genuinely have nothing to add. I think I've said everything I can about this clusterfuck because it's so empty. It's such an empty fucking movie. It is useless. It is pointless. It's such a waste of time. I would say I don't understand why we're still doing this, but the cinema I was in was pretty full. But what I saw was very telling. Kids are either bored, talking over the movie, or running around the place because the movie is so completely unengaging, and they've most likely seen it before because everyone in that theater has seen this movie before. I highly doubt anyone is going into this one or any of these remakes and being exposed to these movies for the first time, because general audiences are just so composed with being fed the same slop they've gotten over and over again, and it's gonna keep happening for the end of time. We have devolved to the point of remaking 10-year-old movies, for fuck's sake. I genuinely think Disney is such a slimy company that their tactic in a couple of years will be to release a new movie that they shit out, and when that doesn't make enough money, they will immediately start remaking it as a live action remake. I can't wait till 2030 to see the live action remake of Hoppers that came out this year. That, you know, that didn't make enough money because it was an original idea. Or I guess that's Pixar, so that probably won't happen. Actually, I'm not sure if they're allowed to remake Pixar movies. That's interesting to think about. They'll just sink lower and lower, and unfortunately everyone on earth, including me, will be along for the ride. I'm the exception though, because I've chosen to make YouTube videos complaining about Disney movies, so who's the real winner here, huh? Who's the real winner? I'm giving Moana 2026 2 stars. The performances are embarrassing and half-baked. The story is repetitive and uninteresting since it's been given to us before. The songs are great, I will say that much, when they're at least sticking to their original versions. But when the changes that are made to them are done here, it's done in all the wrong ways, and honestly just kind of rushed, which is super confusing all around. I don't know how much longer I can keep seeing movies like this. I kind of wasn't really bothered to check this out, but I went to go see it. But when I went to go see it, I really had nothing better to do with my time. But I do genuinely think that staring at a blank wall for almost 2 hours would be slightly more entertaining than having to sit through this. Depending on how it's painted, at least, the wall could at least be more colorful than this movie. movie. Usually on this channel, I encourage people to check out this stuff in the cinema. But yeah, no, don't see this. Don't give this movie attention. Don't give Disney more of your hard-earned money. There's a couple of stuff in theaters right now that you could be seeing instead. The least I can say is, like, just wait for this to come onto Disney Plus. But even when that happens, when the day you get the notification that that movie is on that platform, just pirate this fucking piece of shit.